Today we will talk about 18-FT704 garment testing, performance and sustainability. Now in this particular course we are at unit 4, that is the garment testing for sustainability, and in this unit we have talked about the lesson 2 about the testing of restricted substances, and we talked about in the lesson 2 about the different areas of concern and restricted substances which are there in the garment and how they are getting tested, which are the equipments are there. In lesson 3 we will talk about another interesting point of manufacturing restricted substances list, that is MRSL and its scope. In this particular lesson, we will see that how it differs from restricted substances list and why this is very important for the buyer to understand that in the process this type of restricted substances are not to be found, so that the environmental all the discrepancies and human health and hazards can be eliminated in the process. So let us see in lesson 3 what is the manufacturing restricted substances and how they are controlled. In short, we talk about MRSL, and it talks about the hazardous substances which are available. Now MRSL uses, if you see, the different parts are it is available, like you can see different shoes, okay, in a leather materials, etc. MRSL is there. Garment, yes, MRSL is available, found. Different accessories it is can be found. So MRSL plays an important role to it. Now zero discharge of hazardous chemicals, they defined that MRSL, and to determine this different compounds under this restricted substances is very important under this ZDSC category. Impurities, it is talking about mainly the different impurities which are available in the chemicals which are used in different processes in manufacturing of the garment. What is the difference MRSL and RSL? Let us see. Now in RSL, what we talk about the finished apparel. So after finishing we determine the restricted substances, and in case of MRSL we talked not only about the finished chemicals but also the process, what is the unintentional contamination is there. So that we determine in the chemicals. So in that it differs. So if we control the MRSL, so different processes can be controlled easily, and in a finished garment RSL will not be present. So we cannot find the restricted substances if we control the process. Now what is the scope? As you can see that different areas, different processings are going on in the garment stage or the fabric stage, and different chemicals are getting discharged into the environment. So we have to find it out which are the chemicals are not to be used in this MRSL category. So that is the challenge of this MRSL or manufacturing restricted substances list. Now scope of MRSL, if we find the cleaners, okay, different cleaners are used in washing or cleaning the machines. Solvents, different solvents are used, adhesives are used, stabilizers are used at different processes. So there also MRSL can be present. So these are the process, okay, in which the MRSL can be used, because ultimately it goes into this discharge effluent. Paints, inks, so different detergents, dyes, etc. Then pigments. So everywhere this scope is there for MRSL. So we have to see the contaminants in these different chemicals. Now how to implement the MRSL in a facility, that we need to check. Now if you see and map this total process and communicate then we can see that how it differs, MRSL. Okay. So, different manufacturing substances which are used in the textile or garment plants, so those are to be controlled. So, chemicals are to be controlled in the MRSL form before it goes into these processes and producing the garment. And garment stage we test the RSL, that is the restricted substances. Okay. Wastewater, if you see wastewater also, that different chemicals can be found. Okay. So, it is the indirect way of measurement whether restricted substances are used in the process or not. Now, implementation of MRSL in a facility talks about the screening of the chemicals, that is the list of the chemicals, and if there is any concern about any chemicals, we have to find an alternative solution to it. So, safer alternatives it talks about, which alternative will be useful for that we have to find it out. Now, MRSL, when you are talking, it talks about different processes. Okay. Factory, lot of processes are getting used. Okay. So, we have to see that which are the chemicals which are harmful. So, that chemical is to be replaced. Okay. Then only we can avoid getting such kind of restricted substances in the finished apparel. So, MRSL has a lot of significance in controlling the RSL in a garment. Now, in a MRSL kind of thing, we get lot of restrictions. How the restriction comes in MRSL? It can be illegal restrictions or it can be imposed by the brand. So, those kind of specific restrictions are there when we try to implement the MRSL, because they are after all the hazardous substances which are not to be used in the processes. Now, restricted chemical groups, that is brand RSL or MRSL documents, when you are talking, different groups are available into this, and this documentation is very, very important, that RSL and MRSL documents, if we try to implement this kind of MRSL in a factory. Important terms and definitions of MRSL document, if we see that there are many items are available. Number one is the chemical substance. We have to know the chemical which is used into that. The CS number is very, very, chemical abstract services number is very, very important to detect that chemical group. Then commercial chemical formulations is very, very important. What type of formulation has been used while producing that chemical. So, that also is one of the important point in MRSL. Now, there are other different terms and conditions which are available, that is usage ban is there. Some chemicals should not be used at all in the process, that is the usage ban. Now, if you see the structure of an MRSL document, then we can found the substances names, the substance and the formulas. Then comes the MRSL document, the different structure, how that stewardship can be maintained, what are the different areas we need to see in MRSL, what are the different chemical formulas by which it has been used. So, those things are there in the structure, mainly the case number and the criteria, those things are very important in MRSL. Now, dye house and fabric mills, as you can see, the MRSL can be controlled in terms of APEOs, which is used for the wetting agent, its covering agent, then lubrication agent. So, all these things are used APEOs. So, these are the potential MRSL. Biocides are used, isothiazolinones. So, they are preservating agents for enzymes, biocides are used. So, isothiazolinones are used as a biocide in these agents. PCP and TECP is also important, preservative in starch sizes, those are used, PCP and TECP. So these are all potential MRSL, unreacted monomers like acrylates, polyacrylate based SIGEs. So these are the unreacted monomers which are used for this purpose. Dyeing and printing, if we see that lot of areas are there where this MRSL can be found, like dyes itself, they are having their own band amines can be present. So parts of the dye stuffs, pigments, those are the potential sources of MRSL. Now apart from that, different dispersed dyes are also there. So dyeing, printing, it has been used. So those dispersed dyes are to be tested and they can be the potential MRSL. Heavy metals also are there. Parts of the dyes and pigments, it contains the heavy metals also. Different colors, they are having the different structure and the different metals are used in that purpose. Now chlorinated aromatic compounds, which is there in carrier, in dyeing of polyester, carrier dyeing, then mineral turpentine oils which are used. So those are the chlorinated aromatics which are available and they are the potential sources. Formaldehyde is also one of them, the dye fixing agent, it is used as a dye fixing agent, and binders and fixer, it is used in the printing. So they are also the potential sources of such agents. APEOs, of course, in the dyes, washing agents, dispersant, lubricants, everywhere it is available. Now, finishing and coating, when you are talking, there also this kind of chemicals are available, MRSL. So we have to be very carefully handle this MRSL situation. Formaldehyde is used as a resin kind of thing, and the durable press finishing formaldehyde, wrinkle-free garment, formaldehyde is used. So they are all the potential sources of MRSL in a factory. So you have to be carefully controlled. Silicone softeners, emulsions are normally used and APEOs can be present there. PFCs are present in different chemical finishes like oil and water repellent finishes. So that also needs to be controlled in this process. Now flame retardants are normally used for some specific purposes. So flame retardant finishes, they are also MRSL probabilities are there. Isocyanates, when you are talking PU dispersions, resin, cross-linking agent, polymeric material, isocyanates are used to make the material some special finishes. Polyacrylamide, unreacted monomers, they are also, this is available in different kind of acrylonitrile based coatings in the garment, like this which is shown in this lotus effect in a garment. So these are the different ways by which this MRSL can be tackled. Organotins also, that PVC, antimicrobial agents, as we have already seen. Now garment washing unit, if you want to tackle, there are also different areas needs to be covered for MRSL. Formaldehyde is one of them, resin is used and the wrinkle free garment can be produced out of it. So those are the areas of concern. APEOs also, as we have already discussed, used as wetting or scouring agent. Backstaining agent is very important for the garment stage. So those can be carefully tackled. Band amines used for the tinting purpose, in the over-dyeing purpose in the garment unit. So those are the areas where this MRSL can be found. Isocyanates is used for softening, okay, coatings of the garment in different form. So that should be controlled in this process. Biocides again is used for the enzymes, as we have already discussed. This kind of things in garment washing unit or processing unit. Pigment printing, reactive printing, which are very, very important in the garment stage also. So they are also needs to be checked for formaldehyde, binders and fixer used in the pigment printing. So formaldehyde needs to be checked. APEOs needs to be checked in washing agents and also in different areas of dispersants and softening agents. Organotin, yes, plastisol paste or the coatings based on PVC, it is getting used. So those are the areas actually needs to be concentrated upon. Unreacted monomers like binders and adhesive in pigment printing is used. So they are also heavy metals which are used in different dyes and chemicals. Phthalate is used in plastisol inks for garment printing. So they are in the garment processing unit. These are the areas of concern for MRSL. Now, leather processing, if you see leather processing also, it uses chromium 6 as a tanning agent. Chrome or metal complex dyes are used, so there are also possibilities of this kind of MRSL. Formaldehyde is used in syntans or the tanning agents, so there also it is a probability of getting the MRSL into this. So controlling of these parameters are very, very important. APEOs, of course, as a dyeing and printing unit, washing agents and dyes are also used for the leather processing industry, so they are also band amines needs to be seen, direct dye, azo dye, acid dyes, pigments, etc., where the band amines in the leather processing unit can also be found. Isocyanates also is found in the softeners and the coatings, as we have seen in the dyeing and printing units. Biocides are also found in the preservation of enzymes in the batting process, in the enzyme batting process for preservations of enzymes in the leather processing. So, in the leather processing unit also, the MRSL plays an important role. PFCs are also there, oil and water repellent finishing agents, which are there in the leather goods. So, those are the areas actually are concerned of different processing areas where the MRSL can be controlled. Now, summary of this is that manufacturing restricted substances list, we have seen the scope of it, different terms and definitions we have seen. We have also seen that how it differs from RSL and how different kind of documents are to be prepared for this, and this MRSL, if you can control in the processing stage in different processes in dyeing and printing and different processing units, then it is obvious that we can control the detection of RSL in the finished garment. So, nowadays that is why buyers are giving lot of importance to this MRSL to control the MRSL in the different processing units. So, in this unit 4 in the lesson 3, we have seen that what is MRSL and how this MRSL can be controlled in processing unit. Thank you.